Okay, in the last video we used the init method to process to initialize all these values. Let's go back to person, and what I want to do is init. I don't want the entire world to be able to see this, so I just want my children to see it, my children classes. Let's name this, let's make this protected. Okay, now this is protected, and that way my children shouldn't have access to it. I mean, my children should have access to it. So let's go here now to, let's say, union employee, and I want to initialize this with all the possible values with 0 first. So I can say this dot init, which is valid, because if it doesn't find it in this class, it'll look for it in the super, or I can actually say super dot init, and it'll look directly. So that's probably more explicit to say that than saying this. Okay, so it belongs to this object, but it belongs to my parent. This is complaining now because it's saying I don't use it, so I'll do Control Shift O. Okay, I'm fine with that. Save it. Okay, let's run the driver again to see if we have any changes. Should see some changes. So notice now we see all the possible values: overtime hours, weekly salary. Even though if it doesn't apply, we initialize it to 0 by using the init. Okay, so now let's do it also with the consultant. If we now go to consultant, instead of doing this one right here, new HashMap, we'll say super.init. That will initialize all the values. This is complaining because we don't use it in our code. We'll do Control Shift O to get rid of that warning. Okay, or you could have just deleted the line by yourself, would have been fine also. Now let's go to the driver again. Let's run this, and I think that looks pretty good. We've got hourly wage, overtime pay, hours worked, overtime pay, weekly salary, and regular pay. So that's looking pretty good so far. All right, so that's us just creating a init method. Also, we're taking advantage of the keyword protected. And again, when I say only my children can see it, let's go to the driver for a second. And let's say we went here, we instantiated this class called person. Let's say I did this, I said person dot init. Notice I can't do that. If I move my mouse over it, it's saying one of the ways you can make this a valid statement is if you change the visibility of init to public, but we made it protected for a specific reason. We don't want the outside world knowing what we're doing internally. So therefore we went into person and we made this particular method protected. So this is a protected method, name init. It returns this value, enumerates through all the values in the enumerator, populates that into the hash, into the map, and then it'll initialize it to 0. That's why these are 0, 0, and 0. We just needed the placeholder so we could have everything available. Okay, with that, good luck and good coding.